Listen, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. If you live in a first world country right now and you're broke, struggling, or barely eking by, it's your fault. Sorry, but not that sorry. I say that because if you have access to basic human needs like food, water, shelter, plus you have education and internet, then let's be real. It's you. Now that should come across as good news, because when we take responsibility for our life, then we have the power to actually change it, because we can't really change the economy, the government, politics, and all those sorts of things and how we were brought up. But what we can change is our habits, and our habits will dictate our destiny. So in this video, let's talk about 7 money-making habits that keep most people poor and how to change them. Number 1 is that most people are lying to themselves about their values. And if you've been on my channel before, you've probably heard me talk about this, and that's because, well, nothing has been as impactful for me as this single concept. So let's talk about it for just a moment. You see, every single human being has a hierarchy of values, the things that they value most in life to the things that they value least in life. And those values will dictate how we allocate all of our resources, specifically time, energy, and money. Now, how we invest our time, energy, and money ultimately becomes our destiny. So every day we wake up, we're gonna invest our time, energy, and money in direct proportion to the things that we value most to the things that we value least. The things we value most will get the most of our resources. The things that we value least will eventually get none of our resources. This is why you see people set goals and then procrastinate, self-sabotage, and quit on their goals too soon. Because, they say, oh, I wanna lose more weight. Oh, I'd like to save more money. Oh, I'd like to start investing more. Oh, I'd like to start a business. But every day they wake up, they spend all their time, energy, and money on the things that they value most, and none of it ever makes it to that goal down there at the bottom. In fact, if you've ever experienced procrastination or self-sabotage, that's a sign that you're setting a goal that conflicts with your values. You see, we will sabotage our goals in order to adhere to our unconscious hidden values. Now, here's the good news. If you want to change your values, hang with me until the end of this video. We'll link to another video that explains how to get clear about your values and how to change them. Bottom line is this: if you do not truly value financial independence, money, wealth, then you're never gonna actually take the actions required to create financial independence, money, and wealth. So stop lying to yourself and be real. If you're somebody who's been saying that you want to save more money, invest more money, and become wealthy, but then you find yourself constantly procrastinating or sabotaging, then no amount of videos that you watch on the internet is going to change that. Only changing your values can do that. All right, number 2 is paying yourself last. You see, most folks, they get their paycheck, they deposit it in their bank account, they pay some bills, they do some miscellaneous things, they have some fun, and they swear that if there's any money left at the end of the month, they'll save it. Except there is no money left at the end of the month. That's because of a thing called entropy. Entropy states that everything in the known universe trends towards disorder. In other words, wherever we are not ordered and organized, we will naturally experience disorder and disorganization. So if we don't make ourselves a priority and pay ourselves first and have a habit of doing so, then we are going to experience chaos, disorder, disorganization. The money's going to go everywhere. It's eventually going to get all chewed up, and there's not going to be anything left for us. Instead, successful people pay themselves first. That means that they take a portion of everything that they earn, they set aside some for saving and investing, they pay themselves first, then they worry about bills, miscellaneous stuff, taxes, and all that sorts of junk. So if you want to build wealth, pay yourself first. Number 3 is one that we've probably all heard of before: keeping up with the Joneses. In other words, it's our desire to keep up with our friends who have lavish spending habits, or keep up with the folks on social media that are showcasing their vacations and fine dining experiences. And nothing will sabotage your wealth faster than trying to keep up with everybody else's lavish spending. And there's really no need to. Let me tell you a quick story. Just a few short years ago, I was invited out to a dinner with a bunch of friends of mine that are in the industry. Now, every single one of us at the time is multi-millionaires. So I'm invited out to this dinner, and when we met up, one of the guys in the group said, hey, I want to go to this buffet. And we were all standing there thinking, what, the buffet? Come on, there's so many fine dining restaurants here. Why are we going to go to a buffet? But he insisted on us going to the buffet. So long and short of it is, we went to the buffet that night. Now, I'm not going to lie, behind that person's back, we all kind of teased him. We talked about how frugal he was and how cheap he was and all these sorts of things. And we made fun of him, sometimes even to his face. But the truth is, every single one of us knew that that was the smarter, more fiscally responsible decision. We all knew that he was wise for choosing that because we all understand the laws of money. So even though, yes, we might have made fun of him, even though, yes, we took some cracks at him, the truth is that we know that he made the right choice. So I say all of that to say, because if you stand your ground and say, hey, listen, can we do this instead? Can we go here instead? Can we make this decision instead? And you stand for financial responsibility, yes, folks might make fun of you, but you know what? In the back of their mind, they're gonna know that you're the one that's making the right choice. And here's the thing, most folks sacrifice sacrifice tomorrow for the sake of today. In other words, they do today what's gonna feel good, but it comes at the price of tomorrow. Do what is gonna maybe be painful today, but is ultimately going to pay off tomorrow, then you will be the 1% that has what 99% of the world cannot. All right, number 4 is that we put way too many things on credit card. And this is kind of scary because it preys on our animal nature. And here's what I mean. So at the front of our brain, we have the prefrontal cortex. This is where all of our problem solving, creativity, and really our genius comes from. It's like the angelic portion of the brain that awakens our inspired vision. However, we also have the amygdala, the animal portion of the brain. This is the oldest portion of the brain and potentially even the most powerful. And all it wants to do is survive. It just wants to capture prey and avoid the predator. It wants benefit without drawback, payoff without price, goal without sacrifice. And it's this portion of the brain that make credit cards so appealing because it allows us to get the thing that we desire right now without paying the prices for it immediately. And that's why credit cards are almost demonic in the way that they take advantage of our innate human desires. So here's what I'll say. In my businesses, we use credit cards, but we only use credit cards that we pay off immediately. That way we get the rewards, the benefits, the miles, and all that stuff without paying any of the interest. And the goal is to pay 0 interest. So we treat our credit cards like cash. And if you're having trouble doing that, then consider switching to a debit card. If you're having trouble doing that, then consider using a prepaid credit card, which is something that I did for a while, which removed the ability for me to overspend. So if you want to build more wealth, consider following your angel, not your animal. Number 5 is a lack of budgeting. Most folks, they get their paycheck every month, they swear that they're gonna save some money, but at the end of the month, all the money's gone and they have no idea where it went. That's the result of a lack of budgeting. This goes back to something I mentioned earlier, entropy. Everything in the known universe trends towards disorder. That means wherever we do not create order and organization, we will experience disorder and disorganization by default. In all of my businesses, we have strict budgeting. We know exactly what percentage of the revenue that we bring in is going to fall into each individual bucket, therefore protecting and ensuring that we have profits at the end of every month, quarter, and year. This is similar to, a household having savings. So in other words, in your life, get clear about your budget. What are you gonna set aside for bills? What are you gonna set aside for meals and entertainment? What are you gonna set aside for miscellaneous? And what are you gonna set aside for savings? And then if you wanna take it one step further, even automate that. Bring it all into one account, know exactly what percentage is going to each bucket, and then move those percentages in an automated way as best as possible. Budget and then be strict about your budget. Number 6 is paying too much in taxes. Now listen, I'm not an accountant, I'm not an attorney, and you should consult one before you do anything else that I say in this video. But with that said, plainly put, most people are paying too much in the form of taxes because they're not applying effective tax strategy. I remember being at an event in 2010 and watching this guy stand on stage talk about wealth, and he said that he believes that everybody should start their own business just for the tax benefits alone. So if you're somebody who's using a regular old accountant, or worse yet, using some sort of out-of-the-box accounting software, consider consulting with a tax strategist to come up with a game plan to help you save the most amount of money in taxes so that you keep more of what you already make, which is an important skill when it comes to building long-term wealth. And number 7 is waiting too long to invest. And this is something that I fell victim to myself, where I kept saying that, yeah, I want to invest, but as soon as I save up X amount, or as soon as I start making X amount every month, then I'll go ahead and do it. However, I was just reading the book, The Psychology of Money. And in there, they broke out 3 different types of people: the passive investor, the conservative investor, and then the semi-conservative investor. And here's what that looked like. The passive investor, they put their money in the marketplace and they just let it sit and they let it run. Then the conservative investor, as soon as they saw signs of a recession, they took their money out. And as soon as they saw signs of a recovery from the recession, they put their money back in. And then you had the go-between, the person who was semi-conservative. They would wait for 6 months after they saw signs of a recession before they took their money out, and 6 months after they saw the recession diminishing, they would put their money back in. Guess what happens? When you run that model for several decades, the person who always wins is the person that put their money in the market and just let it run the longest. In other words, nothing beats time in the market. So the more that you make excuses as to why you can't be investing today, the more that you spend the more time you lose in the marketplace, the more of your independence you are sacrificing. So just get in and do the dang thing already. So listen, if you like content like this and you want to continue to grow in your life and your business, then go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. Make sure you click that little bell thingy so you get notified when I release new videos. So I hope to see you in a future video. We'll link to some more cool stuff around here, especially the stuff that helps you change your values to align with your goals. I look forward to seeing you in the future, my friend. Take care.